Darth Vader, only you could be so bold.
The Imperial Senate will not sit still for this. When they hear you... When they hear you've attacked a diplomat...
Yes, Your Highness?
I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to...
When they hear you've attacked a diplomat...
Take it away.
There you go. Darth Vader knows how to handle women. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Viewers Discretion. I am your host, Joe Neerman, aka Good Lawgic. I got a goal up for you guys. If we get 15 yellows, and if we get 15 yellows, it's just $10 or more. I got a story time. That's what I'm doing for my goal tonight. I'll share with you a story of that time. How did I word it? I called it. I think I called it. Yeah, that time I almost ditched Lady Lawgic in Vegas. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, we'll see. If we get there, we get there. If we don't, that's okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Calm on the ground. There you go. See, someone wants a story. I have declared the entire state of California an unlawful assembly. You are to leave the state immediately. Oh, the rhetoric is only stepping up. And everyone knows that when you have a good crisis, you need to come out there and grab your 15 minutes of virtue signaling fame. And sure enough, California politicians starting to line up. They're starting to line up. They're not all out yet. We haven't seen anything from Adam Schiff yet. Maybe one of you found something from Adam Schiff. I expect it to come out. It's come out soon. Probably hear from Swalwell. And I think they're trying to figure out, like, how do we word this? How do we word it so that we're not going to become like hated by most people? So I think they're sort of, some of them are starting to wait, but some can't wait. They're just jumping right in, whether it's Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, or even, obviously, Maxine Waters. We got clips from do I have Karen Bass? Do I have her today? I had her yesterday. Well, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what comes up in the chamber. I need one of those gun cocking sound effects. We'll see what comes in the chamber. And as the riots are continuing, I also want to go over with you Simone Biles versus Riley Gaines, which is this came out of nowhere. Where she went full LeBron in her wokeism, and you got to figure someone's paying these people, right? I mean, why do this? Why do it? You don't. It's so weird. I mean, okay, fine. I can understand LeBron being paid by the CCP. I can see that. Although you would think that there would be like a Farrah thing if he's getting paid, if he's getting directly paid. Well, maybe he's indirectly paid. Simone Biles came out basically, a lot. It's interesting because she's someone who has an unusually shaped body, and I'm certainly not looking to make jokes about her body at all. But she, she's her build, which served her well in gymnastics, and she's now basically abandoning all women, abandoning her team, much like she did in the Olympics. It's the same old thing for Simone Biles. Anyway, so that's what we got tonight. I'm probably gonna end up covering some. Also, we'll see if we see some like live feeds of the rioting that's going on in LA. There you go. Probably going to be a short show tonight because I do have court in the morning, so I don't want to run it too long. But I just got to cover. I got to cover everything that's this is sort of stuff. It's kind of I I kind of got to go. You kind of got to go there. We'll start off by talking about what's going on in LA. What's going on in LA? I saw this and I was like, I have to share this with people because my people will appreciate this. You guys will appreciate this. The memes are off the hook. Yeah, that's gonna get me clipped. I know I'm gonna end up. Yeah, that was really great. I saw that and I was like, I have to share that with my people. Yeah, I knew you guys would appreciate that. Yeah, but I don't need the American World Police folks coming after me. Which I can definitely see that happening if I play that for any longer. Anyhow, yesterday you guys were talking about the cinder blocks that were there. James Woods was sharing out that this morning he was sharing out. It's not like these protests are organized though. Look at this. It's like who randomly leaves? Like how can anyone actually believe for a second? And someone just randomly left. I'm going to count off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15 stacks. It's 13 stacks of bricks that are what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably 5 by. It's probably 25 in each row. Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, times 10. So you're talking basically 250 bricks multiplied by 13. And each of these is I'm just doing the math here quickly. Okay, so 215 multiplied by 13. You're talking about 4,250 bricks. Just leave them around. They just happen to be there. They're just sitting there. That's got to cost at least $5,000, right? Someone just like, I'm just gonna leave this on the street here, just in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what folks do. My math was great. Don't even question the math. The math was great. That was great math. I'm assuming that this is 5 deep, although it really could be more. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 5 by 5 on top. That's 25. Multiplied by 10. That's 250. Multiplied by 13. That's 4,250. No numbers. No. You didn't hear me. No one heard me. Putting in. No, that was all perfect. That was great. I'm very proud of my math. Thank you very much. I should check. I should make sure I have something open for Rumble, so I don't miss the Rumble. No, I don't miss the ghetto people. Anyhow, yeah. If you think for a moment that bricks just happen to be sitting around on the street, that there's over 4,000 bricks that just happen to be sitting around on the street, yeah, please. This is something here is going on, and Donald Trump's not having it. President Trump just directed DHS, this was this morning, said DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Attorney General Pam Bondi to take all action necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the illegal alien invasion and end the migrant riots. The once great American city, Los Angeles, has been invaded and occupied by illegal aliens. Criminals. Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents to try and stop our deportation operations. But these lawless riots only strengthen our resolve. I am directing Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Secretary of Defense is coming in here. That's like the military. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, in coordination with all other relevant departments and agencies, to take all such action necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion and put an end to these migrant riots. Order will be restored. The illegals will be expelled, and Los Angeles will be set free. Thank you for your attention to this matter. See, we're not playing around. Just stop it. Just cut it out. Cut it out, fans. Cut it out. Home Depot offers discounts on bricks for its employees as they labor out front. Get it? I don't know. No. This is definitely orchestrated. I don't want to hear it. I know you're being facetious. I know you're being comical. Someone else who's really comical. I thought this was hilarious. I have a whole bunch of different clips that I want to share with you. So I thought this was funny. As we check in on how Maxine Waters is spending her day, because what happens is this. See, there's a crisis, and then folks got to come to the forefront. This way, it's their way of, this is like campaigning. That's what it is. Because, trust me, they don't really care about these people. None of these folks care about these people. None of them care about the illegal aliens. No, it's all just, this is something that we can run on. This is something that I can virtue signal so people think and will know. People will know that I'm a good person, that I'm one of the good guys. I want people who has to work doubly hard to try and prove that she's one of the good guys is indeed, obviously, Maxine Waters. She needs everyone to know that she's one of the good guys because she looks like a monster. And the more like Chucky the closer to Chucky you look like, the harder you have to work on your virtue signaling, right? I mean, that's what you got to do. So Maxine Waters, she wasn't going to miss an opportunity to come out with the well coiffed hair. You can see from even over here. This is just obviously this was a good hair day for her. She's coming out here to basically meet with Huerta. Now, we heard about Huerta earlier. Yesterday, we talked about Huerta from the SEIU, who apparently was arrested. So good job, ICE, on that. I was unaware whether or not Huerta is actually an illegal alien. A lot of people with Spanish last names are citizens. That's just reality. And so there's no way, just because they happen to be standing up for illegal aliens, that doesn't mean that the Spanish name that they are an illegal alien. But apparently Huerta is in jeopardy here, and that's a good thing.
No, I want you to... Hello. Congresswoman Waters, I just came...
Congresswoman Waters, tell us what's on your mind.
to use my congressional authority.
My congressional authority? What does that even mean? What is your congressional authority? She's at the holding station where Huerta is, and she thinks she has congressional authority here. I haven't found that in the Constitution. Where does Congress have authority in how the executive agency is carrying out their business? Like, you have no. This is someone who's used to having people just listen to her without actually thinking through the illogic of what she's saying. Fortunately, she's dealing with ICE agents who know better.
To check on David.
I need to check on David Huerta. In case you missed yesterday, we should do a little bit of a dive before we go further, because you need to appreciate who David Huerta is. So I should have pulled up an article on this earlier. We'll come back. Don't worry, we'll come back to it. SEIU California President David Huerta arrested in ICE raids. David Huerta, President of Services Employees International Union, California, SEIU United Service Workers West President, was injured and detained by federal agents during a series of U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement raids in downtown L.A. As reported by Newsweek, hundreds of people flooded the streets of downtown LA on Friday following a series of reported raids carried out by ICE earlier that day. The raids resulted in the detention of at least 44 individuals and sparked protests. That's not what sparked protests. It was David Huerta who sparked protests. He's like a professional protest sparkerer. So yeah, I don't think that that's not what sparked it. That was just an excuse to protest and violently. They don't say spark violence. No, they spark protests with demonstrators clashing with law enforcement. You think that that's law enforcement, which was in the wrong here? Because probably not. ICE agents used pepper spray and smoke grenades to disperse the protesters. Not very, very not violent. Very, very not violent. And not violent. What? Reports say Huerta was observing and documenting ICE operations. These are reports from people who we like, and we want to basically get their perspective, and no matter how twisted from reality it is. Documenting ICE operations when he was allegedly pushed to the ground by federal agents, resulting in a head injury. Obviously, he should be suing. ABC News said at one point a scuffle broke out involving federal agents. Why would that be? During which Huerta appeared to be pushed and struck his head. In one video, a federal agent is seen pushing him with his hands or his hips, causing him to fall to the ground. Should we find that video? I should have talked about Abrego Garcia. I want to talk about him also. What happened to me is not about me. This is so much bigger. This is about how we as a community stand together and resist the injustice that's happening. Let's get back to Maxine Waters. Don't want to go to Maxine Waters yet. Because yesterday we did a little bit of a deep dive into who's behind these NGOs, which got funded by the federal government and by the state of California to basically create more protests. They're funded by California to create protests, and that his agency, I think, got $30 million or something like that for that. Yeah. We're proud of President Huerta's righteous participation as a community observer and keeping his long history of advocating for immigrant workers and with the highest values from our movement. In other words, he's a communist. All right, so let's see Maxine Waters, because this you're going to enjoy watching. And in case some of you are only here for a few minutes, I teased the beginning of her coming up here, and just watching the door get slammed in her face here is just delicious to watch.
To use my congressional authority to check on David.
Ma'am, our lobby is secure right now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public apparel.
I need to get in.
What are you hoping to do, Congresswoman?
I just want to see David Huerta.
Why?
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes.
Why? Why would that be? Why would that be? Why should you be allowed to enter a holding station? Why would you have special privileges just because you're a congresswoman? Tell us. Tell us, Snuffleupagus.
What is happening here?
Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Huerta, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted. I don't know what they're doing with him.
It wasn't targeted. Targeted means they would have gone to his house. He went to them.
I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to
see. This is what makes me think maybe he's an illegal alien. If she's worried he's going to be deported, that would be a major scoop if we get rid of David Huerta.
Report back to my caucus about what's happening, but they have.
Yeah, so that was her. She looks so addled and confused. She looks like basically she's like 3 years behind Biden as far as the cognitive state there. But she's sort of like, you see at the very end of this little clip here, how she's sort of confused. She's just very confused. Like look at the if you can distract yourself from the fake eyelashes, the weird looking wig that she's got on, and the droopy eyelids, just for a moment, just try and register the utter confusion on her face.
I want to report back to my caucus about what's happening, but they have.
She just looks so utterly confused. This is her screaming about it afterwards. This is after when Nick Sorter was reporting President Trump just ordered DHS National Guard to take action to liberate.
What are you going to do? You going to shoot some kid who's afraid of you and run? You going to shoot him?
And I've gotten complaints about the audio, like my levels being not the same. And I know that she's low, so I'll try to turn her up. Hopefully, I'll whisper because this sounds lower to me also.
What are you going to do? You going to shoot some kid who's afraid of you and run? You going to shoot an elected official? If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city. You did the governor was not contacted. This
was.
This is Trump and his outrageous attempt to not only target our sanctuary city, but to
Why do you have a sanctuary city? That itself sounds illegal. Just the notion of a sanctuary city basically is saying we're going to disregard federal policy that supersedes our laws and just implement whatever the hell we want to implement. Just the term sanctuary city or sanctuary state immediately to me sounds, especially in an area of immigration. You want to tell me in transit maybe that there's that the federal government has less jurisdiction in that area. I think you're standing on constitutionally stronger ground if you make that claim, because the executive branch has much less authority with respect to some state that decides they want to become the beacon of the trans folk. But when it comes to immigration, your subjects, I mean, who are you fighting against? You're fighting against the federal government. The entire notion of sanctuary state and sanctuary city, which we're seeing the Trump administration start to rub against it. In Boston, when they're talking about trying to go into take people and threatening Michelle Wu that if she stands in their way that they're going to come after her. In LA and in New York, we're starting to see that these sanctuary zones are being stomped on by the Trump administration, fortunately. Where they're basically, we don't care about your stupid sanctuary city policies, which they shouldn't. I mean, what if they had a policy of like we're going to disregard everything President Trump says? I mean, this is the area where Trump has his powers are at their zenith. And you want to tell me you have your own stupid laws? No one cares. That's like, imagine she says she has her own laws in her house that she's allowed to use. She's allowed to use narcotics. She's allowed to sell narcotics out of her house. That's her own. It's her own. She's a sanctuary for drug distribution. Who says you? That doesn't mean anything. It's the most meaningless thing in the world. But she's all bothered about her stupid sanctuary city.
To not only target our sanctuary city, but to frighten us and intimidate us.
It's not a matter of frightening you. It's a matter of doing what they were voted in to do. This is what I voted them to do. This is what every one of you who voted for Trump voted for him to do. Let's be clear about something here. Let's just remind ourselves that this is not just some notion that Trump woke up on. This is what he ran on. This is exactly what he ran on. He ran on, I will do this, and got the popular vote. So this is, to me, a very poorly thought out losing strategy by the Democrats. I hope they lean in on this so hard because they're on such poor footing. At least with if you're losing the popular vote to a Republican, this is one of the two, if not the number one issue, it's certainly two or three at the lowest, and it probably was number one, considering that like in July, August, even in states like Maryland, like not border states, even in states like Maryland, they were calling immigration issue the number one issue. And you guys want to lean in on this, that you're on the side of right? Okay, good luck. We'll let the will of the people decide that.
This is wrong, and I hope that none of you will use those guns to shoot anybody.
Look at her. Oh, she's so full of virtue. I hope that none of you... I also hope they don't use any of those guns to shoot anybody. I know no one wants them to start mowing people down. I'm not looking to see, Los Angeles massacred. That would be terrible. That would be a genuine tragedy. But that doesn't mean that they should take abuse. It doesn't mean that they should, and it also doesn't mean they should arrest people who are interfering with them.
There's no reason to shoot anybody. Don't allow them to make your service in a service where you're
Look at her virtue signaling here. Oh, she's just worried about the people.
killing people. Don't do it. Defy them. Don't shoot those guns for anything. Thank you. Thank you.
As if Trump told them, go shoot people. Defy him. He's such a gaslighting loser.
Don't do it. Get by there. Don't shoot those guys.
Stop.
Anything.
This was from yesterday.
Thank you.
Gotta get rid of this to close that out. And just to make my point even further, this is in Beverly Hills. You think this is a winning issue for you Democrats? Okay, good luck with that. This is Beverly Hills, California. Change is time to face the Beverly Hills today. You think they're bothered by the National Guard being called in? I don't think so. I don't think any of these people were paid to show up there. You keep leaning in on this, Democrats. Who would have thought you would ever see this in Beverly Hills, California? People marching with Trump, with Trump paraphernalia, and wearing American flags. We didn't see that before when Trump wasn't in office. No one was brave. Everyone's loving him. They're loving him. This is awesome. Polls, should we bring back water cannons? It would be like 98-2. I don't need to ask folks that. Truthfully, LA needs water cannons. Where are you going to get a hydrant? We're going to find a hydrant in Los Angeles. How does the president proclaim an insurrection under the Insurrection Act? Will true social posts work? It's been a hilarious day in LA. Dig. Viva Estados Unidos. Ole! I haven't researched the technically legal manner in which he declares an insurrection. Like, would a true social post qualify? These are questions. J.H. Schwalbeck says, Joe, I was born in Flushing in 1958. Really? That's crazy. That's awesome. I was born in Flushing in 1970. So there you go. I now live in California. What happened to Flushing, Queens? Rooftop Koreans everywhere. Maybe it's a good thing. Make California Flushing and save me. Yeah, I'm not living in Flushing anymore, but I grew up in Flushing, Queens. For like the first 35 years of my life, I was living in Flushing. Even after I got married, I stayed there. I stayed there for a whole bunch of years. So, yeah, I'm very familiar with Flushing. In fact, one of the first office I ever had when I went off solo was in the Chinese area of Flushing. I have some good stories about that, but that's not for today. But yeah, and it wasn't so much Korean as it was Chinese, I think. But yeah, you definitely need the rooftop Koreans. Bring back the rooftop Koreans. Maxine talking about why they don't need guns need to be turned back on her. Why does congressional police carry guns? These are good questions. I don't know. Why would they carry guns? They should be screaming back at her. Tell your security not to fire their guns like you ordered them to. Tell your security not to fire the guns like you ordered them to. Gaslight. Thank you, Susan. That's very kind of you. It's very, very kind of you. I'm about to check on the ghetto. Make sure everything's cool in the ghetto. What's going on in the ghetto? Bring back the lefty Civil War diary, which is about avocado toast. I don't know what you're talking about, Lewis. Yeah. No, I wanted to say this for later. This company. Vigilant Fox checking in with LAPD chief admits professional left-wing anarchists are fueling the violence in Los Angeles riots. This reeks of a Soros op. LAPD Chief Jim McDonald just expressed what many arrays suspected. The chaos unfolding in LA is being escalated by professional leftist agitators. Let's hear this.
Look at the people who are out there doing the violence. That's not the people that we see during the day who are. But when I look at the people who are out there doing the violence, that's not the people that we see during the day who are legitimately out there exercising their First Amendment rights and to be able to express their feelings about the immigration enforcement issue. These are people who are all hooded up. They've got a hoodie on. They've got face masks on. They're people who do this all the time. Get away with whatever they can. Go out there, from one civil unrest situation to another, using the same or similar tactics.
Why aren't you arresting them?
And they are connected. Some would call them anarchists or by any other variety of names. But they're people that we run across routinely city to city, and this is what they do. So even more disgusting that many of the people who are doing this come in from other places just to hurt people and to cause havoc.
Yeah, those people should be in jail for a long time. That's an astonishing statement from the LAPD chief, Jim McDonald. Someone called them anarchists. That was an astonishing statement. That basically, and let's not forget who Karen Bass is. Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, she is an anarchist from her youth. She spent, I think, 2 decades like going back and forth to Cuba. She literally, I was on a space today. I'm just going to tell you what they were saying on this space. So my research is limited to basically what folks were saying in a space about her. And you can look this up. And if I'm mistaken about this, I urge you, please correct me. And if you're watching after the fact and you happen to know something to verify what I'm saying or to correct me, I'm not looking to pass on misinformation. I'm simply saying this was stated in the space I was in this evening and was unchallenged by anyone else who was on the stage there. And it is somewhat consistent with what I've seen. I certainly have read about Karen Bass, that she has a background in studying and engaging in terroristic type of activity, or if not herself, but being part of organizations in different chapters. That I covered here on this channel. She's been engaged in different chapters who engage in terrorist type of activity in promotion of radical perspectives, and that she's a Marxist. In fact, that she what they were saying in this space, again, my sources, that this was a speaker on the space, which I don't really love using this as a source simply because it could be some lunatic. So there is that caveat. But what they were talking about is that they say that she would go to Cuba regularly and had KGB handlers who were basically training her when she was younger. We're talking, a couple of decades ago, that she had KGB handlers that she even spoke Russian, that she learned Russian. This is not your typical black woman mayor. No, she's a Marxist. She's a Marxist. And yeah, sowing dissent in her own, and then how this woman ends up becoming mayor of LA is just an astonishing statement of the level of influence that Democrats and the sickness that Democrats who are looking to infect America, how deep their ties are, how deep their roots are, that they have a capacity to get her on a ticket and to win primaries to be the Democratic candidate is astonishing. It's really astonishing. So if you have thoughts on that, please feel free to weigh in with that. But yeah, it's not the summer of love. It's not the summer. It's not the summer of get the F out of our country. Yeah, get the F out. All the more reasons to call on National Guard to kettle and stop the rioters. You need overwhelming force to accomplish this. It's true. It's true. I really hope we see arrests and convictions of these roaming Antifa bands. It's time to call these people out for what they are. It's time to call them out for what they are. And it's even crossing over now that It's building into international hostilities with Mexico. As reported here by Benny Johnson, Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum, another lunatic, is now calling for protests in the United States. If necessary, we'll mobilize. What does mobilize mean? She's not saying we'll go to war. She's saying we'll mobilize. What does mobilize mean? It means sowing internal dissent. We don't want taxes on remittances from our fellow countrymen from the U.S. to Mexico. What is she talking about here with taxes on remittances from our fellow countrymen from the U.S. to Mexico? What is she talking about? So in the One Big Beautiful Bill, one of the provisions of the bill is that there's going to be a 3.5% tax on remittances. What are remittances? Many of you may be asking. What the heck are remittances? Remittances are when a Mexican earns money in the United States and sends it back to Mexico, which apparently is many tens of billions of dollars each year, that there would be tax on that of 3.5%. And she's very upset about that. So she's basically saying that we're going to incite insurrection in your country. Is that what she's trying to say?
Because if necessary, we will mobilize, because we do not want taxes on remittances from our compatriots in the United States to Mexico.
They don't show us what happened 10 seconds earlier.
Because if necessary, we will mobilize, because we do not want taxes.
So then the question is she involved in this? What does "we will mobilize" actually mean? It's California. They would elect an open communist. That's likely true. That's likely true. Day Republican on X has a deep dive on Bass. Is that recent, Victor? Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I found it. Look at that. Look how fast I found it. Who really is Karen Bass? See that? Bam! 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 All right. Oh, was it? That's pretty funny. We're going to go through this in a moment. I'm introducing legislation to quadruple the proposed remittance tax from 3.5% to 15%. That's what Trump should do. That's what you should do. You should be fighting against this mobilization. If you don't, I'm going to basically jack up that remittance tax. Yep. Yeah, punch him in the face harder. Punch him in the face harder financially. Most people know her as the mayor of LA. Some remember her botched handling of this year's wildfire crisis, but there's a lot more beneath the surface. Let's dig in. Karen Bass once served as vice chair of the National Endowment for Democracy, a U.S. government-funded NGO notorious for meddling in foreign governments under the banner of promoting democracy. Translation: soft power regime change. NED, the National Endowment for Democracy, has been exposed repeatedly for funding color revolutions, pushing Western-aligned NGOs, and helping topple governments that don't play ball with U.S. interests. Bass was right in the middle of it. And then there's the scholarship scandal. LA County Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas got federally indicted for receiving a scholarship from USC's School of Social Work and allegedly trading favors. Bass, she received the exact same scholarship, but no charges, not even a slap on the wrist. Why the double standard? When you're part of the machine, when you got DC connections, NGO backing, and ties to the intel adjacent nonprofit world, you get protection. She's not a DI figurehead. She is the system. This thread will walk through her career, her quiet rise through soft power institutions, and how she became a key player in the globalist swamp. Karen Bass, Vice Chairman of NED. Karen Bass' political career started early. She volunteered in Robert Kennedy's political campaign in middle school. She studied philosophy at San Diego University from 71 to 73. She was already a full-fledged political activist by then, at the age of only 19 years. Another critical influence Bass began at age 19, spanned the next 5 years. Cuba, reads the document written by Dawn Nagel, who's currently the Director of Mental Health Services for the Maricopa County Correctional System. As a brigadista and then organizer for the Venceremos Brigades, Karen visited Cuba every 6 months. The Biden campaign knows about Bass's history with the brigade, which began as a joint venture of the Castro government and Students for Democratic Society for leftist anti-war organization that gave birth to the Weather Underground terrorist group. If you're asking yourself why and how so many activists are raised, this is a common pattern. They go after extremist university students, and these students become NGO careerists. This is why a top priority of the Trump administration must be to kneecap NGO and foreign influence in colleges. Bass was so indoctrinated in Castro doctrine that she ended up embracing the more authoritarian aspects of his ideology and ironically rejecting the hippie movement. Interestingly, Bass' work in Cuba helped the future congresswoman reject the cultural looseness in the 60s radicalism had often championed. Cuba was for her what psychotherapy is for others, a process through which, reading the bottom part here, process through which she re-examined her values, her behavior, relationship with her family, and her future goals. In the late 80s, Bass founded a community coalition in South Los Angeles, more commonly known as COCO. They've since grown to possess $31 million in assets and get $9 million in revenue. About $3 million of that is government grants. COCO's mission statement, community organizing through building grassroots leadership. Their main service appears to be holding town halls. The vast majority of their expenditures are in salaries and benefits. Basically, milking this system as best they can. And yes, they receive federal grants, all the while drug use in LA has skyrocketed. Bass leadership in COCO would see her be elected to represent California's 47th Assembly District. She became the first black woman to serve in California's state legislature. She was reelected in 2006 and 2008, and then her term limit expired. She became appointed as a majority whip in 2005, quite a prominent position early on. Bass became elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2011, where she would stay until 2022. While in the House of Representatives, she served as a ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, Global Health, Global Rights, and International Organizations. A biography notes she traveled to Africa 30 times. In short, she never stopped being a global activist. This doubtlessly made her an attractive target for Ned. In 2018, she was featured speaker at the World Movement for Democracy, which probably deserves a thread of all its own as it was founded by the National Endowment for Democracy. Bass served on NED from 2014, just 3 years after she became elected to the House of Representatives, which is remarkably short time frame. Even all the more startling as appointments are typically senators. Representatives are not appointed nearly often enough. Bass' long tenure in NED allowed her to become vice chair in 2021 while being an active member of Congress. As a reminder, NED receives $350 million annually, almost all of it federally taxpayer funded. Wow. 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 You ask how Maxine Waters makes her money? This is how Karen Bass makes her money. She basically gets her friends to give grants to the organization that she's a vice chairwoman of. Unbelievable. On January 8, 2021, the board of directors of the National Endowment for Democracy elected a new chairman, Kenneth Wallach, as well as 7 new members of his board of directors. Representative Karen Bass and former representatives Peter Roscom and David Skaggs will serve as vice chairs of the NED board of directors. Unbelievable. Wow. So corrupt. Bass was a never passive member of NED. She was deeply involved in democracy building throughout the world. Bass was also on diplomatic trips with the Obama administration. It's why she's on the Ronald Reagan founded board of the National Endowment for Democracy. It's why she went with President Obama. It's why she went with Secretary Kerry. It's why she went to visit USAID President Alan Gross. In 2022, federal corruption case indicted Los Angeles Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas, his crime steering money into the university in exchange for his son receiving a scholarship at the same university. The other recipient of scholarship bribes Karen Bass. She was not investigated at all, not even on their radar. And she should be now. She was considered HUD secretary for the Biden administration. Instead, she nominated the person who would become the actual HHS secretary, California Attorney General Xavier Becerra. That's right. Bass is responsible for Xavier Becerra being in the HHS secretary position. Let's put it this way. Xavier Becerra prioritized human traffickers above child safety. He pushed placement of children so aggressively that his own ORR director, Cindy Huang, herself a career migrant activist, tried to blow the whistle on him. Instead, she resigned under duress. Wow. These people are terrible human beings. Her mishandling of the LA wildfires caused her to be labeled as a DEI mayor. I think it's a mischaracterization. She's terrifyingly effective at what she does best. Leftist activism. She's entrenched into the system at a global level. She mishandled the wildfires because she was incompetent, but she doesn't care about LA residents. In fact, her Ghana trip during the wildfires that she was criticized for, she wasn't there to party. She was there as a representative of the Biden administration to honor the inauguration of their new president. Raised from the cradle to be a part of the globalist network, continues to ignore the actual needs of LA residents to promote leftism at a global stage. Great job, I Data Republican. Thank you for calling that to my attention, Victor. Remittances sent from the U.S. to Mexico reached a record of $63 billion in 2023. To 3.5% is $2.2 billion. Yeah, there you go. Should jack it up to 15%. Problem 15% is it will cause people to use alternative methods to avoid tax. 3 to 5% would not. Maybe. You gotta do it effectively. Let's see. Let's try and check on the ghetto. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Oh, good. Fans in Viola are having a nice little chat about supper. Diggers be digging. That's what diggers do. Let's get into Tom Homan today. Let's get into this. Let's break this down. Daily Beast was outraged. Trump borders are threatens to arrest Newsom, an LA mayor. I don't really take his words that way. I thought about wording it that way. This is a real clickbait title because I don't really hear it that way. But let's I'll let you judge for yourselves. Of course. Of course.
The National Guard has never been deployed in that manner by the President of the United States. What's different?
President Trump is sending the National Guard to help us protect public safety here. You've seen the videos. Go to these protests and see what's happening. We got protesters making threats against officers, assaulting officers. Now, just recently, in the last hour, we got protesters with Molotov cocktails. The protesters are purposely trying to overwhelm law enforcement. President Trump's being the National Guard. Again, I want to be clear, not just to protect the law enforcement officers, to protect this community, because people are going to get injured. I'm telling you, the rhetoric is so high against ICE officers in this city. It's a matter of time before someone gets seriously hurt.
You said killed earlier today.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that ICE might kill someone on the streets of LA?
What I said was, if this rhetoric continues, this violence continues, someone's going to lose their life. It's an anti-Trump agenda, anti-ICE agenda, and they're going to keep coming. But
you saw how they have that edit there?
We're going to do our.
I don't know. I haven't seen the unedited version. I'll bet anything he says. It could be they get killed by the rioters. I'll bet anything. Why would they edit that moment there? Yeah. It's someone going to lose their life.
Our job, and we're going to continue doing that job.
You've also mentioned Mayor Karen Bass and Governor Gavin Newsom, and there have been threats, previously that if you stand in the way of your enforcement operations, you could be subject potentially to arrest. Are you saying that about Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom? Or are they at risk of being?
No, that's the question he asked. Remember the headline here from these folks. The Trump borders are threatens to arrest Newsom. And listen now and ask yourself, is he really threatening that?
Arrested?
I'll say it about anybody. You cross that line. It's a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien. It's a felony to impede law enforcement from doing their job.
Do you think that the mayor of LA is doing that?
If she crossed that line, we'll ask the DOJ to prosecute. Do I think she's crossed the line? I don't think she's crossed the line yet. But I'm telling you, the warning we're sending is we're not going to tolerate people attacking our officers.
I'd love to get your response to Governor Newsom saying, essentially, your actions here are provocative, and the quote that he used was sowing chaos.
Like, Governor Newsom's an embarrassment for the state. He's the one that's feeding this mantra. He supports sanctuary cities. He supports sanctuary laws. If he cared about public safety in the state of California, he would not have a sanctuary for criminals.
What do you say to the people who show up because they're scared, because their children saw potentially federal agents outside their school yesterday, or their dad saw them outside Home Depot?
There's no one outside of school. Come on.
There are reports of seeing agents outside of schools or in Starbucks parking lots.
ICE does not do operations in schools and churches unless we're looking for a significant public safety threat and national security threat. And the reason we did away with that policy, the sensitive location policy, is because President Trump and this administration is making it clear there is no sanctuary for a public safety threat and national security threat in this country. You can't point to one raid at a school, or one raid at a church, or one raid at a hospital.
If these protests continue to happen on the streets,
that's true. I can't. Let's go on to something else. Oh God, it's so disingenuous. Well, how anyone actually watches legacy media anymore? I don't know. Like, why? Why do you watch them? Why? You can even see from their clips just how completely full of crap they are.
Of Los Angeles, do you anticipate similar interactions with your agents?
They cross the line, they'll be arrested.
I think a lot of people are worried about what you had said about potentially people could be killed.
I'm worried about it too. I worry about it every day. Every night I go to bed. Last time I went to bed, I prayed that my officers go home safe, and I prayed that the protesters would be safe. But when you cross that line and you cause this type of violence, it's only common sense. I've been doing this a long time. The rhetoric keeps rising and rising and rising. Someone's going to get hurt.
The governor's essentially saying the opposite, that the rhetoric and the escalation is coming from you.
Well, the governor, look, I have absolutely no respect in this governor. I can say it again, he's an embarrassment to the state because criminal aliens are walking the streets of this state every day because of him and his policies. I don't care what the governor thinks of me. I'm not running a popularity contest.
How do you not love this guy? Let's get Donald Trump on this also.
Even if you don't plan to
Warn you, I heard this before. They're standing by a helicopter there or something. So the audio here is brutal. It's brutal. It's really bad audio. But it's Trump weighing in on the Marines. I have to play it. So I'm just warning you, the audio is brutal.
invoke the Insurrection Act, do you plan to send troops to Los Angeles?
What?
Even if you're not planning to invoke the Insurrection Act, do you still plan to send troops?
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere.
Even if you're not planning on declaring an Insurrection Act, do you plan on sending troops? That's the question.
We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart like it was under Biden and his auto pen.
What's the bar for sending Marines?
The bar is what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
Sending active Marines on the table, sir. Secretary Hexon.
We're going to see what we need. We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
So there you go. I didn't see this. What happened there? I wanted to. Dang, man. I really want to see that. Not this.
Wow.
Oh, God.
So
Never
many
mind.
stars.
You're useless. Yeah. All right. Wow. Okay. Let's see if this one's longer.
Drive well.
Oh, I don't think I like this one. See, they also report on border czar Tom Homan warned that officials could face arrest and prosecution if they cross a line. That doesn't. Okay. How is that a headline? If they cross a line. Yeah, okay. You know, Schiff could face arrest if he plays with if he plays inappropriately with little boys. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Let's hear from Newsom's reaction. This is like the last hour or so. This is pretty hot off the press I got for you.
I have a feeling there's a pretty good chance that in the White House there might be a television on and he might be watching us
I hope so.
right now.
Yeah, he can learn something.
What might you say to
Oh,
him?
yeah. Yeah, you're a real leader.
I'll give you the floor. You have the opportunity. What you weren't able to say to him on that phone call or calls that he hasn't taken today.
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop.
Oh,
Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional.
he's trying so hard to look presidential here. He's trying so hard to look presidential.
And I said it. I'll say it again. It's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk.
You put people's
This is a
lives at
serious
risk.
moment, and it requires serious leadership. And
Yeah.
It's time for you to
Yeah.
be a commander.
What the hell are you doing there then? You should resign. If this is a moment that calls for serious leadership and you recognize that, you should resign.
And it requires serious leadership. And it's time for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers.
The only time the spirit of our let's invoke the founding fathers as if this has anything to do with anything. As if that has anything to do with anything at all. The spirit of our founding fathers. You'll have his back. Trust me. Never expose your scapula to this guy. No one should ever expose their scapula to this guy. I'll have your back.
But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
Governor Gavin Newsom.
Coming after poor kids, you're coming after families. What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? We're going to stand in your way. Okay. He says he's like the master of saying nothing. What the hell does that even mean? He's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything. I'm going to stand in your way. He's trying so hard to look presidential here. Did that look presidential enough there, Chip? Do you think that played well? That looked like a real tough guy there? So does that look like a leader there?
What time are you filing the lawsuit tomorrow?
Very early in the morning. I'd love to do it tonight, but
there's really no grounds for it, so we're going to wait till tomorrow morning.
We got lawyers working on the brief.
All right. Go.
Yeah. This was great. So Nick Sorter tweeted this out. He said, breaking: rioters have set fire to California Highway Patrol vehicle while officers are trapped on an overpass. What year is this from, Gavin Newsom? You're a failure. This is what he tweeted out. Here's the video. This is less than 3 hours ago. It looks like Beirut. So Nick Sorter called Gavin Newsom a failure, and Gavin Newsom responded. That's right. Gavin Newsom responds to Nick Sorter. Donald Trump he quote tweeted him saying Donald Trump has manufactured a crisis and is in flaming conditions. If he can't solve it, we will. How? What the hell are you doing? What are you doing to solve it? To solve it. You know, he's solving it. He's going to court to try to stop Trump. Yeah, you're really solving it. So the bad actors fueling Trump's flames, California will hold you accountable. Who? When? You're not even saying police in there. Nick responded to him, are you effing retarded? You blame Trump for you once again allowing police to be attacked by savages. This is on you. When you got this? Because, well, this was funny. That was good. Every Mexican in the North have family near a border with just Western Union crossed with money. Well, you gotta find a way to cover Western Union too, obviously. Trump has also learned from the 2020 riots. Well, 2020 he was very handicapped by the fact that he knew he had an election coming. So he was very handicapped. But you're right. He has an opportunity to see firsthand what happens when you allow a state to run amok. He definitely has had every opportunity to see that. And I don't think he wants to allow that to happen again. So there you go. Do I have anything else here? Or did I cover it? I want to share one last thing with you. This is Lily Tang Williams, who lost an election to Representative Goodlander. But she was awesome. She was awesome. So I want to hear this clip. Saying, I condemn the LA riots as a consequence of Democrats' open border policies under Biden that Representative Goodlander supports. We must stop funding sanctuary cities and deport illegal criminals.
This Chinese immigrant gave her
Oh,
Democrat
I thought it was gonna be a
opponent
quote.
30-second lesson on immigration.
Well, I'm a legal immigrant. I came here right away. It took me 6.5 years to become citizen. My brother waited in China for 13 years to come here. It is a slap in the face to all the legal immigrants who are still waiting in line all over the world with American sponsors. Some of them have been waiting for over 10 years. What kind of message do we want to send to the world? If you follow the law, we're going to punish you. And if you come here illegally, we'll give you a quick pass to citizenship. I support deport all the illegal aliens who committed crime immediately.
This Chinese immigrant gave her Democrat opponent.
There you go. There you go. What's this? LA riot rock thrower, the 80s Sega unlocked his TikTok, but here's the post description. So now I'm going to lock the driveway. They break the law, so why should we comply?
You're so concerned. You're so concerned.
Really, sir? You need to calm down.
You're so concerned. What you need to do is get a vehicle. Get a vehicle from the city. Put it right here so they won't take those people.
My vehicle's here. I can't get them.
Give me the vehicle. I'll drive it. I'll park it right here to avoid them. You got power. You got authority.
I'm waiting for city cars to get here, sir. I can't get them through.
I'll get them through. Tell me. We have a lot of power.
We're trying to get the deputies through, but they're back there. You
If we block here, we stop everything. You have the power. Help me do it. We put a vehicle here, they're fucked. Help me. Hey, come here. Help me put some fucking vehicles right here and we'll stop this shit right now. You guys run Paramount. You guys shouldn't allow this shit. Come on, help me out.
Folks, if you're in the middle of committing a crime, don't video yourself doing it. That's just my recommendation. That's it's not legal advice. It's a tip. Call it a tip. It's a freebie. I throw it out there at you. If you're in the middle of committing a crime, don't film yourself committing said crime. It's just poor form. It doesn't look cool, and it likely will have repercussions.
Let's get the vehicles and we'll stop this shit right now. I'll drive it. Tell me what car is it? I'll pull the vehicle. I'll make way for your vehicles to make way.
Do this. No, the LAPD's got this. Absolutely no reason to have Trump there. No, we don't need a National Guard. The LAPD's got this. They've got it. We got this. Workers at a Mexican restaurant. Ooh, there you go. Plenty of good people out there. Lunatics. He'd send some folks in undercover.
Oh, there's
Need some folks in on the cover. It's the only way to stop this.
They missed. They tried to throw a Molotov and they missed. They came up short.
LA shop owners attacked and tased by lawless rioters who destroyed a store during LA's anti-American sovereignty riots.
Oh, you socked her in the face.
The sad thing is, this guy's probably here legally.
Hey, throw a trash can at her.
Y'all niggas sneaky. Y'all niggas sneaky.
Bro, need to give up.
That's so sneaky.
Pallets of concrete blocks were outside the gates in the immediate vicinity where ICE is located in LA. Totally organic, this thing is. Totally organic. Totally organic. Obviously, natural to have concrete blocks up around. This is the National Guard being mobilized. Go get him, boys. Go get him. Ironic that Mexicans are at a Home Depot and the police are staging under a giant donut. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
The middle of the intersection where traffic.
I covered this yesterday. There's deep state fingerprints all over it. CIA level chaos. Sanctuary cities like LA didn't just accidentally become magnets for violent migrants. It was planned. They welcomed them in, gave them cover, and now they're turning them loose to attack federal agents. Newsom's an incompetent sociopath, and Bass is a raging Marxist who let LA become a battleground. That's funny. The LA riots are bad. Junior High Class were extension. The Mentos with a Cook. That's pretty funny. Yeah. If you were unfortunate enough to be there, I'll tell you right now. It's like you're in a terrible situation. Florida actually passed a statute after the Summer of Love. After the Summer of Love, DeSantis passed a law in Florida, which says that you do not need to stop for protesters, and that if they get in the way of your vehicle, you can run them over. Essentially, don't quote me on that, but there was something to that effect. That if protesters try to stop your vehicle, you have a right to continue, and that you're not going to be charged with injuries that result from that. But that may not be the law in California. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's not the law in California. So, if you've heard about the rooftop Koreans, it's a reference to this if you're too young to have seen it. When there were riots going on during Rodney King era, they went to the rooftop and started basically shooting down looters. That's why people are talking about the rooftop Koreans now. You know that this is from the 90s from the music. Maybe. Yep, tantrums all day. So the Koreans went up on the roofs of their stores and basically got their guns out and started picking off looters. And that stopped it. They ended up getting prosecuted, some of them, I think. Whoa. Don't mess with the Koreans. Do not mess with the Koreans. Don't mess with the Koreans. Reginald Denny being viciously beaten by the LA Ford during the Rodney King race riots.
It's honking. It's honking on its own.
So I think there's some more quelling to be done. I'm just saying. I'm just speculating. I think there's probably some more quelling to be done. Just saying. Just saying. All right. I want to turn to my next story here. Short little thing here about Simone Biles. Let me see where I have that. Here it is. So Simone Biles, let's see, 3-time Olympian champion, who's won countless gold medals for her prodigious work as a female gymnast. Tweeted this out to Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines put this. Comments off LOL to be expected when your star player is a boy. That's me, Champlin Park, the Class 4A softball state champion for 2025. I'm not sure which one is the boy. This one? I don't know. That's a quick guess. I'm guessing this one. But I guess if I'm wrong, that would be a disaster. So, anyhow. So, she tweeted comments off LOL to be expected when your star player is a boy, which was responded by Simone Biles, who said, Riley Gaines, you're truly sick of all this campaign because you lost a race. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps find a way to make sports inclusive, or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports, maybe a transgender category in all sports, but instead you bully them. One thing's for sure, it's one thing, not one things. One thing's for sure. I guess perhaps you can expect that because gymnasts probably don't have the greatest education. One thing's for sure, no one in sports is safe with you around. What the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? Why would you see? Okay. Yeah, with most folks who go up on the trans ally ship, folks who get on the ship Trans Ally, I would think that the motivation for folks to just jump on that ship is that they sort of feel like, I need to gain my street cred. I need to show the world, I need to virtue signal to the world that I'm an ally. Otherwise, people aren't going to like me. I'm not going to be popular. So for a lot of folks, I'd be like, all right, look, you're a useful idiot. So you're basically willing to sell out your values and think that somehow that's going to make you more loved. Invariably, that's just not reality at all. Selling out your values doesn't really help you gain love. It'll get you attention. It's not going to get you love. But a lot of people are too stupid to understand the distinction between attention and love, or too emotionally damaged to appreciate the distinction. So folks will jump in on that. But then you come to someone like Simone Biles over here, and when you see a Simone Biles, I mean, this woman's got 1.9 million followers on X alone. I have no idea what she got on Instagram and elsewhere. She got 1.9 million followers here. She probably got a lot more on Instagram, which is able to show her exploits off in far easier to view type of way, her gymnastic exploits. So, yeah, millions of fans. And she's worked hard. She worked very, very hard. She disappointed a lot of people with the way she dropped out of competition. So what's her excuse? What do you need the love? Well, you just not been in the news recently? What are you doing to women's sports? What are you doing to them? You never had to compete against a man. You never had anything to do. Nothing. Riley Gaines responded. Let's check out her response.
Yesterday, Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast, the best of the best, bar none. There is no one else even remotely in her league in women's gymnastics. I guess in an attempt to be inclusive and virtuous, decided to sell out all women and girls who have dreams to achieve and to succeed, and to specifically personally attack and body shame me. She tweeted this out of the blue, like this came out of nowhere, and she said, Riley, me, you're truly sick, all of this campaigning because you lost a race. First of all, if she's insinuating I lost to a man, I've lost several races in my career, duh, that's part of being an athlete. But if she's saying I lost to a man, that's factually incorrect. We tied, besides the point. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Let me get something straight. It's my job. It's the women's job. This is what Simone Biles is saying. It's the women's job to find a way for the men's feelings to be validated, for their identity to be affirmed. That's not my job, actually, at all. So to say I should be doing this is insane. If she wants to use her platform to uplift men and women's sports, then by all means, but it's certainly not my job. And
No, not by all means. Then shame on you, Simone Biles, for doing that, because you're basically lifting up the ladder behind you. You climbed up the mountain, and now you're lifting up the ladder behind you because you didn't have to compete against men, Simone. You didn't have to deal with that. And what the hell kind of what is that? That's ridiculous. So now you get up there, so you're like, oh, okay, let's allow men to just dominate the sport. That's insanity. That makes no sense.
I don't believe it's the job of any woman to do this. She goes on to say, but instead you bully them. One thing's for sure, no one in sports is safe with you around. I can't even make sense of that last part, actually. Then out of the blue, she tweeted this. Bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male, which is hilarious, really for two reasons. Number one, she's acknowledging there are differences, like physiological, biological differences between men and women in saying this. Secondly, I'm 5'5", which might seem like a giant to someone who's like 4'7", 4'8", but I'm pretty standard size for a woman. I guess like relatively muscular, right? Being an athlete, I would imagine Simone would understand that, but I weigh like 135 pounds, 5'5", of pretty much pure muscle. And again, if anyone would understand that, you would think it's Simone Biles, a woman who has historically been scrutinized for having a very muscular, masculine looking body. She was scrutinized to the point she did this whole body positivity campaign.
Yep.
Then she has the nerve to say that I look like a man. And not to mention, this is a woman who has been incredibly brave in calling out and witnessing the horrific sexual abuse that she and hundreds of other female gymnasts faced at the hands of one sexual predator, that predator being Larry Nassar. In the same breath, believing that vulnerable women should be forced to strip down naked in front of men in locker rooms so long as it makes the man feel happy. If Larry Nassar came out as trans, would Simone think it's responsible or safe for him to be housed in a women's prison?
Boom. Boom. Yeah. Would that be, is that what you're recommending, Simone? Oh, they're just women. They're women just like that. So if he says he's a woman, then that would be cool by you? The guy who was basically a predator for you?
Be very, very clear. I could care less what Simone Biles says about me. I'm a very secure person. I know I'm on the right side of history. I'm married, so if she wants to say I look like a man, I literally could care less. The most heartbreaking part about this, for me, is the platform that she has and the amount of young girls who look up to her. That she just, in a blink of an eye, sold out to appear to be virtuous. What we saw from Simone is the definition of pulling...
And for what? It's not like she needs the attention. Like, for what? Seriously, Simone, for what? Like I said, if you're a useful idiot, you got no, you have no friends. You feel like, okay, I need someone to love me, so let me join in with this group of other useful idiots, and then they'll love me. Why do you need this, Simone? Why are you walking into this? Such an Such a stupid jerk. Like, for
pulling up
what?
the ladder behind you. Something people like Meg saw from Simone is the definition of pulling up the ladder behind you. Something people like Megan Rapinoe have also done. I have a feeling that if Simone's inclusive dream came true, she would have 0 Olympic medals and no one would even know who she is. So if she wants to advocate for men and women's sports, by all means, it's America. You get to do that. I get to call you stupid for it, but you get to do that. Maybe in the 28 Olympics, she can compete and pommel horse in the rings. But I am going to keep standing up for women and girls, which is just about the least controversial take on the entire planet. If you can remove yourself from the opinions of the elite, of mainstream media, of Hollywood, of any elected representation, the position that I have taken is the same position that about 90% of Americans have taken, which is that men should not be in women's sports. Simone Biles having internalized misogyny and being a male apologist was certainly not on my 2025 bingo card.
So great response there from Riley Gaines. Jennifer Say tweeting out that our words can defend girls or erase them. Simone Biles choosing to erase them.
Admit it. It's not about
You're truly sick.
Why can't you be more inclusive?
Inclusion matters more than fairness.
You're just a sore loser.
I would stay quiet if I were you.
You're not going to get a job.
If you say anything, you're never going to get a scholarship.
It's just one race.
What's the difference if you're second instead of first?
You're a bully.
Don't be so selfish. Admit it. It's not about fairness.
You just hate trans people.
Get with the program.
Or at least have the decency to be quiet.
So now it's women telling women to shut up. It's not just Vader. It's not just Darth Vader. It's not just Darth Vader. You know, you know.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm 4'8". I'm stuck.
Here's Simone Biles doing her body positivity thing. This is the woman who said that a man is her. It would be Riley Gaines' size.
Question I wish people would stop asking me is, how tall are you? Are you gonna grow? I'm not going anywhere. I'm 4'8". I'm stuck. I'm Simone Biles and I love my body. Because it helps with gymnastics and it teaches younger girls to love their bodies as well. I think I've learned to love my muscles a lot more than when I was younger. I got made fun of for my arms a lot. Some people would say like mean things. They used to call me like a soldier. At the time, it didn't make me feel the best, so I wore sweaters or jackets all year long. Now I show off my arms all the time. To me, healthy body image is when you feel confident with yourself in and out. To body shamers, let me say. I feel like if you love your body, then that's all you can do, so it doesn't matter what anybody else says. So I think they have to learn to fall in love with themselves.
You are a hypocrite. A hypocrite. That's right. You know, you're a hardcore hypocrite. Sitting here fetching about how people made fun of your body when you were younger. Now you just like, and then you basically say Riley Gaines looks like a man, which frankly, you look a lot more masculine than Riley Gaines does. It's not even close. Not facially. I mean, look, I'm not going to kid you. I mean, most people would properly say that Simone Biles is an attractive woman. I'm simply saying, yeah, you want to talk about having a muscular type body that looks more masculine. Simone Biles is by a light year much more masculine type of body than Riley Gaines. But that isn't even the point. That's not the point. The point is you're sitting here talking about body positivity. Oh, it's so important to have body positivity. Oh, believe in your body. But you're going to sit here ranking on another athlete's body because you get mad at them. That's a white flag of I'm a loser. I'm a huge loser. You remember that time that you all thought like, wow, what a loser, that after she had a bad event in the Olympics that she dropped out of the team competition. Yeah, that you thought she was a loser then. No, I can top that. I can top that. Loser.
It's out of jealousy sometimes. I would actually say Ali Raisman helped me a lot with my body confidence issues.
I don't care if she's got 47 gold medals. She's still a loser.
On the way, but most of the time it's just like love yourself. It doesn't matter if you don't want to wear makeup that day, if you don't want to do your hair that day. You're human too, so do what you like. My favorite outfit I've ever worn besides Aaliyah would probably have to be Golden Globes. Because I got to wear this long gold dress and it was very beautiful and I felt confident. My emoji would be the crazy-eyed one with the tongue out. I wish I could show you, but my eyes don't go like that. But because it's kind of fun and crazy and energetic. And my favorite part of the way I look is my smile. I don't know, it's a good one. I got blessed with a good smile and some good teeth. I think life just in general makes me happy.
So much for your empty words about body positivity, jerk. Yeah. You think I can control the volume on it? It was at max volume. It was stupidly recorded. There's nothing I can do about that. Let me I'm gonna wrap up on out of here. But I had one funny video that I wanted to share with you all. Which is before I get on out of here. This is if social media existed in the time of the Bible. I thought this was funny. I was hashtag not offended. This is pretty funny. We'll close with something amusing. Something amusing for y'all. There you go.
All right, guys, me and Aaron just got inside the palace. We're about to ask Pharaoh to let our people go. No idea how this is going to go, but wish us luck. Okay, we just left the meeting. We asked, he laughed, said no one's going anywhere. Anyway, the fight goes on.
Pharaoh, if you're watching this, this is your last chance. Let the people go, or it's gonna rain, hail, frogs, whatever.
Hashtag let my people go.
He let us go, then changed his mind. Now he's sending soldiers. We're literally running to the sea right now. We just got here, sea in front, army behind, no way out. Everyone's freaking out. Let's see what God tells us to do. Guys, the sea literally opened up. I'll explain later. We're walking through now. And no, this path isn't on Google Maps.
Didn't film the parting, was busy holding the staff. But yeah, it worked. The sea split. I'm exhausted.
All right, guys, we made it. Seal's behind us, Pharaoh's not. Don't forget to like, comment, and maybe bring sandals next time. We walked a lot.
Oh, that was really good. Oh, that was really good. All right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's what I got for you tonight. Tomorrow, I'm back in court watching more Jane on the stand. Watching more of Jane on the stand, where she's going to be facing cross-examination. We'll see how well she holds up on that. We'll see. I'm very curious to see what their tactic is. I expect them to probably not be that hard on her. At least if the way they handled Cassie is any indicator, where it's going to feel probably like a People magazine type of interview type of thing, rather than just like, you're a liar. They'll probably try to jujitsu her. What I mean by jujitsu, they're probably going to take the words that they like from what she said and build up on that. Build. Let's expand on that. And there's a lot that she gave, where she was like, this is what you do for your man. That's why I did it. She keeps referring to Sean as her partner. So I'm going to be breaking that down for you tomorrow. So I hope you'll check that out. Like, share, subscribe. Even if you're liking, share, don't. The lab meat is not for you. You know that, right? I mean, the lab meat is not for you. You might be thinking, oh, while I'm watching a Joe video, I'll just sit here munching on some lab meat corned beef sandwich. No. It's not for you. It's not for him. It's not for her. Lab meat is for they, them. It's not for you. Also, no matter how they try to butter that sucker up, whatever A1 sauce they throw on it, Frank's hot sauce, whatever, do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Have a good night, everyone. And as always, Godspeed.